Hello and welcome Get Real Football Experts podcast. I'm your host, Louis DB at DB Sports Talk, and today we're doing schedule rundown edition of the Atlanta Falcons. We're starting off the NFC South. I'll be doing the Atlanta Falcons, and I'll be doing the Carolina Panthers, and Dave will be doing the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, only one playoff team to make it in this division last year. Obviously, the Atlanta Falcons had a 17-0 lead on the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game, only to let that one up. So we're going to be going over their schedule, and they kick off week one in a tough matchup. You know, this is kind of what it's like. This is kind of what it's been like. It's going to kind of start off like this in most of the week one season openers against some good division rivals. I don't know if I like that. I kind of think that it's kind of bad. I think that some of these games should be saved for when it's more important. But I'm going to give this one a loss. Actually, I think with Sean Payton having his first game back as head coach in over a season, he obviously missed the whole season due to the bounty program. I think they're going to lose this one. I think the Saints' defense was vastly improved. I think Kenny Vaccaro is really going to help out this defense, and I think Drew Brees is just going to be Drew Brees again, over 5,000 yards last year. I think he's going to do that again. Marquise Colston's still a great receiver, the best tight end in my opinion, Jimmy Graham. They did clear up some running back space, which I think is going to help, sending off Chris Ivory to kind of limit the carries now. You're going to get Mark Ingram and Darren Sproles mostly involved, and also a little sprinkle of Pierre Thomas in there. So I think the Saints team is loaded on the offensive side, and so are the Falcons, and I think it's going to be a shootout. But I like the Saints doing this at home with the momentum on their side. It's just going to be tough for their corners. Kenny Vaccaro is actually going to have a busy first game as a rookie, going up against some of those great receivers. To me, the best receiving core in the league. So I think they're going to be 0-1 to start it off. Week 2, they're home against the St. Louis Rams. The Rams are vastly improved as well. I mean, getting Tavon Austin with that 8th overall pick, trading up to the Bills, I think is big time. I honestly think that, really, this could be the deciding factor if they can get into the wild card, maybe upend that Minnesota Vikings team that were in last year at the 6th seed. So I think the Falcons are going to jump off to this win, though. I think it's going to be a fun matchup watching Cortland Finnegan and Janoris Jenkins go up against Roddy White and Julio Jones. I think that's going to be really fun to watch. Also, I'm interested to see the Rams guy in Alec Ogletree, see how he matches up against Tony Gonzalez. But I think Tony Gonzalez is going to get the up end here, and I think it comes down to quarterback play and running back. Obviously, Steven Jackson's facing his former team here. I think he's going to have a big game. I think the Rams line's good, but I think Steven Jackson's going to be looking to prove something here. And I think Matt Ryan's obviously a better quarterback than Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford's a vastly improved quarterback. I've been saying improved because a lot of both teams that the Falcons are starting off have been making some major changes. I'm going to give this one to the win, and the Falcons will start off 1-1, moving on to week 3. They are at the Miami Dolphins. Another great team that really did good in free agency. Not going to say great because they didn't make the playoffs, but they got Donnell Ellerbe from the Baltimore Ravens, Mike Wallace from the Steelers. I mean, this is a much more improved team. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill coming into his sophomore year had an underrated season last year because of all the rookies. I think the Falcons are going to win this game. I really like to see what Asante Samuel versus the Mike Wallace deal. I think that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Some of the receivers here are going to be good. The running game, I think, for the Dolphins, I don't think the Falcons are going to have a hard time. The defensive line of the Falcons is a bit weaker. But Desmond Trufant is going to be interested to see if he can bump up Mike Wallace too, or maybe he covers Brian Hartline. But I think the Falcons are going to win this one. It's going to be hot, but I think the run game they're going to execute well. And I think losing Carlos Dansby does hurt a little bit, but I think Ellerbe will help. But I like the Falcons to win this game, and they will improve to 2-1. Going to week 4, they are home against the New England Patriots. Okay, this is going to be a fun game. Last year, obviously, the Patriots had a pretty good season going to the AFC Championship game to lose to the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams here lost their respected conference championships. I think the Falcons are going to lose this game and drop to 2-2. I think the Patriots are still going to be just as good. I think they improved greatly on the defensive side, regaining Aqib Talib on the one corner side. Obviously, you re-signed your other guy, Kyle Arrington. Then you go to the safety position. Devin McCourty, who moved that position last year, is very good. You lost Patrick Chung to the Philadelphia Eagles, but now you replace him with a big-time veteran hard hitter in Adrian Wilson from the Arizona Cardinals formerly. I think this is a vastly improved defense, and I think Tom Brady's really going to... I think with the lack of pass rush that the Atlanta Falcons have, losing Jonathan Abraham, I think that the Patriots are going to win this game in a close game, though. I think, again, it's going to be the receivers versus the corners here. It's going to be fun to watch. Aqib Talib and Kyle Arrington versus Roddy White and Julio Jones. I think that's great. And I think the Falcons will drop to 2-2. Moving on to Week 5. they're home against the New York Jets, a team that the media really likes. Mark Sanchez there, the famous butt fumble, probably the worst. I don't know. I mean, this is interesting. Hit us up on Twitter at DB Sports Soccer, at Dave Crest Sports. Tell us what you think is the worst play in NFL history. We talked about this in the podcast yesterday. I think this could be the worst one. And I think David Guerrero retiring is really going to put Mark Sanchez in the front running to win this. I don't think Geno Smith is going to end up being the starter week 1. I think you're going to see Sanchez in there. But I think the Falcons are going to have an easy win here. I think the defense of the Jets is better, but losing Darrelle Revis and then drafting a guy like D. Milner is definitely a downgrade. And I think that's what's going to be fun here to watch Roddy White and Julio Jones pick apart this secondary. Not Antonio Cromartie, obviously he's a well-respected corner in the league, but I think they're really going to make D. Milner struggle, even though he's a physical player who can really bump you up on the line of scrimmage. But I think the Falcons are going to win this game based on purely offense. I just don't think the Jets have enough to score against the Falcons. So I think at the bye week, at week 6, the Falcons are 3-2. Probably enough to be first in the division. I don't know. I really like the Saints this year and the Panthers. So they go into week 7 home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A very important division game. I think they're going to win this game and improve to 4-2. This is a contract year for Josh Freeman. He's really got to prove what he's worth today. It's very interesting to see how he's going to improve. Vincent Jackson's still there, big-time receiver. I can't wait to see the Desmond Trufant versus Vincent Jackson pair-up battle. I also am liking. I really can't wait to see the Gerald McCoy versus the Falcons offensive line, who lost a guy to the Miami Dolphins, Tagliabue. Claybo, that's on my bad, not Tagliabue. That's a coach. So I think the Falcons are going to win this game. It's going to be tough. The Bucs are a very good defensive team, but I think the Falcons are going to win this and improve to 4-2 going to Week 8, halfway through the season. They are away at the University of Phoenix Stadium against the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're going to win this game too. I really think the Cardinals. Getting Carson Palmer was a good move, but I just don't think it's enough. And again, this is going to be kind of like the Jets game, where I just don't think the Cardinals have enough to keep up with the Falcons. The lack of a run game, I don't know if Mendenhall is going to be fully healthy, and I don't know if he's going to improve. I think the Falcons win this game. I just think they're a purely better team. The run game's it's going to be a struggle for Steven Jackson, obviously, with Darnell Dockett there, who's a very good player, and Calais Campbell. A very underrated defense, I think, for the Cardinals, but I think the Falcons are going to pull this one out. If you want to be a championship team, you got to win games like this that are tough on the road, but that are against teams that you should beat. So I think they improved to 5-2. Moving to Week 9 at the Carolina Panthers. A really fun game to watch. Cam Newton coming into his 3rd year. Had a career, one of the best rookie, if not the best rookie season in NFL history 2 years ago. And then starting off on a slow start in his sophomore year, but then really on a hot streak. I'm going to bring it to fantasy real fast. Cam Newton and Matt Ryan. Who do you think's best fantasy quarterback? I would say Cam Newton, based on the read option and the running threat that he has. But I think the Panthers are actually going to steal this game at home. I think if the Panthers want to get into the playoffs, they're going to have to get over the hump of beating the Saints and the Falcons, and I think they're going to do that here. And I think the Falcons will drop to 5-3. It's a tough road game, and it's really going to come down to these division games. Who wins this division? Because I think it's up in the air. I don't think it's a sure thing for the Falcons to win. And honestly, I think the Panthers could easily be in the mix. Week 10 is home against the Seattle Seahawks. A really tough game. A lot of people are having the Seahawks or 49ers as their early pick to go to the Super Bowl. So the Falcons are going to have something to prove right here, and I think they're going to take a win at home in the Dome like last year. It's a repeat of the divisional playoff round, which was a miraculous game to watch. The Seahawks coming down and getting rid of a huge 3-score deficit, only to take the lead until Matt Ryan pulls off a miracle, huge throw to Tony Gonzalez to set up over a 48-yard field goal for Matt Bryant to win the game to go to the conference championship. So the Seahawks are going to be out there trying to get some revenge, but I think the Falcons are going to take this one. It's going to be fun to watch Marshawn Lynch versus Steven Jackson in this game, I think. And I also really, really like the Desmond. I'm going to be comparing Desmond Trufant. I'm going to be looking at the Desmond Trufant matchups a lot. He really interests me. He got picked ahead of Xavier Rhodes, which I think people are going to be comparing if the Falcons wanted to go that route. And I think it's going to be fun to watch that. And obviously Russell Wilson is not going to have much pass rush to worry about, but that secondary is very good for the Falcons. And I think the Seahawks are going to lose this game. I think the Falcons are going to improve to 6-3 in a tough game. Hey, if they want to get to the Super Bowl, them and the 49ers are the two teams they got to go beat. So Week 11, they're away against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down in Florida. I think they're going to win this game. I do think they're going to sweep the Buccaneers. I don't think the Buccaneers have it this year. Honestly, Josh Freeman, I think, shouldn't be in a year where he has to prove everything because he had a very impressive year last year, breaking the passing yards record in a Buccaneer for Buccaneer history. But there hasn't been that great of quarterbacks in Buccaneers history. I'm going to give Doug Williams a shout-out. I love my man Doug Williams, even though he's a Washington Redskin and I'm an Eagles fan. But I think the Falcons are going to win this game. Really, it's just this is going to be a fun secondary to watch. Darrelle Revis, Jonathan Banks versus Roddy White and Julio Jones. These are some fun receiver versus corner battles with, to me, the best receiving core in the league. And obviously, Tony Gonzalez is going to be doing some stuff. It's going to be fun to see him versus Mark Barron or Deshaun Goldson. That's going to be fun. The battle of the secondary versus the receivers in this game. I think the Falcons are going to pull a very hectic game out in a hostile environment in Tampa Bay, who's looking to get into the playoffs for the first time in a while. So I think the Falcons win this and improve to 7-3. Moving to Week 12, they're home against the New Orleans Saints, and who they lost to in their season opener. In my predictions, they got to beat them at least once if you're winning the division. The Saints have really been their kryptonite, except for last year's Thursday night game where the Falcons finally beat the Saints in a while. But I think they got to take another one this year. I think they're going to win this game and improve to 8-3. This could really be the tiebreaker of who wins this division because I don't think the Saints are going to miss the playoffs again. I think they're going to be right there, right next to the Atlanta Falcons. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see this one. Matt Ryan versus Drew Brees is always super fun to watch. The battle of the tight ends, the young versus the old, Jimmy Graham, the future of the NFL, and Tony Gonzalez the past. Obviously, this is his last year coming in the NFL. Best tight end of all time, in my opinion. First ballot Hall of Famer. And I think Tony Gonzalez is going to get the best of him this time. I think the Saints linebackers are strong. Obviously, they have Curtis Lofton and Jonathan Vilma, so it's going to be fun to watch them go at it here, but I think the lack of corner depth and talent there is really not going to be a factor here. And pass rush, I think they didn't address the pass rush well. I think they should have went after a guy like Jarvis Jones, who they could have took at that spot at number 15 in the draft, but instead they decided to go in the secondary, which was another need, of course. But I think the Falcons are going to win this game, and I think they're going to improve to 8-3. Moving to Week 13, they are away at the Buffalo Bills, a team that's very improved, getting their franchise guy in the 16th overall pick in E.J. Manuel out of Florida State. To me, he will be starting at this time. You're going into probably a snowy Buffalo Stadium, Ralph Wilson Stadium, here in Week 13. I think they're going to pull out a win. I think they're just a better team than the Buffalo Bills, who I don't think are going to be able to score enough points to go after the Falcons. I think Stephon Gilmore is really going to be the only guy. Corner depth is very thin for the Buffalo Bills. They still want to give Aaron Williams out of Texas 2 years ago, second-round pick, a chance. But I think that's a serious issue. But Steven Jackson's going to have a tough game. Marcel Darius and Kyle Williams being one of the two best defensive tackle duo, if not the best, in the NFL. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But I think the Falcons will pull this one out based on the Bills. Aren't going to have enough weapons to take them out. Obviously, Stevie Johnson. They're going to see how Robert Woods develops. But I like the Falcons to win this the Falcons to win this. Matt Ryan versus E.J. Manuel. I think I'll take Matt Ryan in this one to go after that Buffalo Bills secondary and try to pick them apart. Also, they didn't. Denard Searcy might be starting this year for the Buffalo Bills as they lost George Wilson. So that could be another weakness Matt Ryan can really go after. Week 14, they're away at the Green Bay Packers. A really tough game. The Packers are really being overlooked, I think, based on the 49ers and Seahawks thing. I think the Falcons and Packers are the two dark horses, even though they shouldn't be, to win the NFC. I think they're going to lose this game at Green Bay. 2 super snowy games in a row. That's going to be fun to watch to see how the Dome team handles 2 wintry games. I think they're going to split it. I think they're going to lose this game. The Packers know how to play in the snow. I'm going to see John Kuhn get in the end zone twice. That's my bold prediction. So put it on the board. But Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Ryan is going to be really fun to watch. See them two go at each other. I think both secondaries one secondary is looking at a different position. The Packers obviously lost Charles Woodson, so Matt Ryan's going to look to attack that weakness, and also, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a running game. Steven Jackson versus Eddie Lacy and Jonathan Franklin is going to be fun to watch. See how those two rookies do. But I think the Packers are going to steal this game because they know how to play in their own environment, and the Falcons will drop to 9-4. Week 15, they are home against the Washington Redskins, a team that everyone likes to watch. They like to see how, obviously, RG3 is trying to come back from his ACL tear. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how he does come back from that. I mean, it's going to be cool to see. I hope he does play. He's obviously playing from here, but I want to see how the Redskins adjust and how they try to protect him in the pocket. Maybe try not to do as much read option and run plays. Obviously, the read option doesn't always have to be run. I don't think people understand. Read option is not just one play where no matter what, if you call it and you have the quarterback running, you don't have to run. You can obviously put it in the running back's hands, and if the defensive pass rush is going after him, then you pull. But if he's containing, then you pull it. And you can always throw, too. That's why I think RG3 excelled at that people aren't talking about is the read option throw. And that's probably the most important thing, asset. But I don't think it's going to be enough because I think the Redskins defense is getting older. They got to shore up that secondary. Obviously, D'Angelo Hall did come back for one more year, or another London Flex. Brian Arakpo just can't stay on the field, and neither can Ryan Kerrigan. So I don't think that they're going to be completely healthy at this point. They will be fighting for their playoff lives with only 2 weeks left after this game, but I think the Falcons will be fighting for a division, and I just think the secondary for the Redskins are really going to struggle here against the very dynamic Atlanta Falcons. So I think the Falcons win this game and improve to 10-4. So it's going to be close. They have now Week 16 away at the San Francisco 49ers. Could be the game of the year, a rematch of the NFC Championship game last year, only this time in the San Francisco 49ers' new stadium. Can't wait to see how that's going to work out. Colin Kaepernick at home versus Matt Ryan, the rematch. 17-point deficit erased by Colin Kaepernick. The Falcons are definitely going to be coming in here to prove something. They're really going to be looking to try to just contain Colin Kaepernick. That's all they got to do with what the Falcons have, the defensive line. They just got to do something. The secondary's got to hold up. You're going to have to look at the linebacking core, Sean Witherspoon, to really do that. And I think but I don't think it's enough. I think the 49ers are the best team in the league. Their defense just has Pro Bowls at every position, and getting Eric Reed to replace Deshaun Goldson might be the deciding factor here. And I think the Falcons lose this and drop to 10-5. Week 17, they are home against the Carolina Panthers. This could be the last. This could be win and win the division, or maybe you got to win and maybe get some help because I don't know how the Saints are going to do. Obviously, Dave's doing the schedule rundown for the Saints. I think they're going to win this game, though. They're going to come up big, and Matt Ryan's not going to allow them to have a risk of not making the playoffs. I definitely think they're going to win this. Maybe Cam Newton and the Panthers are fighting for a wild card spot here. I'm not so sure, but I think Matt Ryan's really going to come in there, attack that secondary with Chris Gamble leaving from the Carolina Panthers. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I think the Falcons are going to win this game, and at the final season they will be 11-5. We'll see how the standings pan out. Might be enough for the division. I think it's definitely enough for the playoffs. So that's going to do it for today's schedule rundown edition of the Atlanta Falcons. Thanks for joining me. Obviously, comment, rate, subscribe on our YouTube page, youtube.com/NFL Experts. Follow my partner Dave at Dave Crest Sports for all your updates on the NFL and more. And follow me at DB Sports Talk for your all NFL news, NBA, NHL, anything that you want on Twitter. I'm there. And make sure to check out our articles at GetRealFootball.com. Check out me. I'm a fantasy writer for the GetRealFootball.com website. And Dave is all NFL things all the time. Thank you for joining me here again, and it's been real.